Coming into this race, we knew we had 3 more months of great training with Natasha. We had really been focused on making improvements in the run, making improvements in nutrition. And so we knew that we had everything in our toolbox to execute a great race. If everything fell into place and if we had good days, that we could win our age groups.
We scored a pretty awesome Airbnb just maybe a week and a half before we left, and it is only 2 blocks from the finish lines, maybe a mile from the start line. So that worked out in a big favor for us because we didn't have to wake up that much extra early. We got a few extra minutes of sleep, and we just rode our bikes to the start. Didn't even have to load them up, so we didn't have to deal with that part of the logistics.
Yeah, it was super easy. We hopped on the bike, we rode over to the start transition, and didn't have to worry about parking or anything like that. So that was nice and easy.
With our free time on Friday, we took the opportunity to drive the bike course and see exactly what we were up against, including a trip to the top of Sugarloaf.
From there, we made our way to packet pickup, a quick in and out process thanks to the incredible volunteers who were there to support the athletes throughout the weekend.
Back at the Airbnb, we took care of the typical pre-race routine, laying out our gear, numbering the bikes. We had a feeling 22 and 23 would be fast for us, and Tiff always makes a point to put the numbers on just right.
We can't say the same about our body marking numbers. They weren't as pretty going on, and they didn't last very long on race day.
When we got to the race start, we went through our typical pre-race routine, laid out all our gear, made the pit stop, put on our wetsuit. Putting on the wetsuit took a little bit of time. And then the swim start was just, 50 yards away. Maybe. It was close.
Yeah, we walked to the swim start, did a little bit of stretching, national anthem, lined up. I was the first one on the line. I don't think that's ever happened. And I got a good angle to the first buoy going out because it was kind of probably about a 45-degree angle from the swim start that you had to run toward and then start swimming. So it was shallow to start, so you had to run a little bit before you could start swimming.
Swimmers to your mark, set, go, 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 go.
I was the first one in the water. It wasn't necessarily intentional, but it's also kind of cool to think that, yeah, I was the first one leading off the entire day, the entire race, and I had to do some high stepping until I felt like I had enough depth that I can start swimming. So I dove in and I went, and I was hoping to be able to find a pack to swim with and get on the feet of somebody and utilize the draft. And the first couple of women that caught up to me and eventually passed me were just going at a pace that there was no way I would have been able to sustain. And I had to swim by myself for a little bit, and then a little bit later another woman came by me, and I stayed on her feet probably until the first big buoy, but I couldn't hang on, and she was off as well. So after that point, after the first buoy, the first big buoy, I was swimming the entire swim by myself. I don't think there was anybody probably within 50 yards ahead of me or 50 yards behind me. I wasn't as strong as I wanted to be. Cardiovascularly, I was a little weak. And that surprised me a little bit because swimming is kind of my forte, but I came out of the water about 36 minutes, which was a couple minutes slower than I was really hoping for on like my bad end of the spectrum. But nonetheless, I was happy to be done with the swim, and it was still respectable, and it was time to get onto the bike.
Tiffany was the first one in the water, but I was right on her heels. I started right behind her, and I stepped in, and I think the beach run, the beach start kind of threw me off a little bit because once I dove in and I got a few strides in, a few strokes in, my heart rate, I could just feel it was high, and I knew if I didn't settle down some that it was going to really affect my race, and I didn't want to have to stop back like when I was a beginner doing open water and having damn near panic attacks. And luckily it didn't come to that, but I knew that I had to recover quickly if I wanted to continue on. So I just kind of backed it off some, really focused on form, and just kind of took it stroke by stroke, and eventually got through it. It wasn't my best swim, but after the beginning of the swim, after how it started, I knew that it wasn't going to be, and I came to terms with it, and I just knew that I just had to get the swim behind me and onto the bike and go from there. Out of the water from the swim, it was a quick run to T1. I got through T1 pretty quickly, about 2 minutes and 15 seconds or so. I was ready to put it out there, and I believe like right after the mountain line there was a climb. Never fails. There's always a climb right outside the mountain line.
Yeah, so I came out of the swim and made my way to transition. I was a little disoriented from the cold water and kind of running a little wobbly. And like Caitlin said, the bikes were on the first rack, so very easy to get to. I did, again, take a little extra time to put the eardrops in because I didn't want to have the vertigo or the disorientation with water sloshing in my ears. The first 5 miles, there was a climb that made me work and made me really wonder what I was going to have for the rest of the day. My quads were on fire, and to think that I was going to have even more rolling hills in the next 15 miles to come in a little flat stretch in the middle there, and then Sugarloaf, I was seriously wondering if I had what it took to get up Sugarloaf. Caitlin did catch up to me probably about mile 42, which was just before the turn to Sugarloaf. And I watched her go up that mountain, and I was like, man, she is beasting this mountain. So then I'm thinking like, well, I got no choice but to get up this mountain. So no matter how hard it has been up to this point, I have to get up without stopping, without walking, because my wife just did it. And when she got to the top, I could see her flex her muscle and give a whoop, and she was so proud, and I was so proud of her.
I was like, this isn't that bad. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I was glad to be done, and I was excited when I was done. The climb that was in the first 5 miles was also in the last 5 miles of the race, which at this point you're going down it. Mm. And I hit a top speed of 41.8. I think that's the fastest I have ever gone. I was down. I was just like, please don't wind, please do not come now.
White knuckle.
I know. I was like, Lord, keep me upright. The bike and got onto the run. My first mile of the run, I knew my pace was a little high, my heart rate was a little high, but I tried slowing it, but it just wasn't really coming down. So I was just like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go with it.
Finishing the bike and heading back into T2 is always one of my favorite moments of triathlon. That means I made it safely through the bike course. And that means I'm only 13.1 miles away from the finish. And all I had to do was run 13.1 miles and call it a day. I headed out of T2 and I found a rhythm and settled into that pretty quickly. Hit a point where I just turned my brain off. I could feel some things hurting. I could feel some things that were, discomforting, but I'm like, no, I'm too close to the finish to give in, to give up. So just turn the brain off and just keep going at this pace, keep going at this cadence.
I believe the mile 13 marker was just at the beginning of the curve, and after that you went around, and then there it is. It's the finish line festivities. You see the finish line with the crazy man arms at the top, and that's really cool. Completely put it all out there on the red carpet. You can't help not, especially when there's people on either side hollering for you, and you kind of lift up the crowd, and you just go as hard as you can, and you get to that finish line. And I think we're both guilty of this. We can't help but put up our arms and just excitement.
Saunders from Austin, Texas.
Pick it up, give it what you got, and head down that finish chute. And I don't know what happens when I see that red carpet. It just turns me into a different person, and I always try to get the crowd hyped up, and I think I sprinted more than I've ever sprinted before down a finish chute.
Coming down the chute, and Podium. Another 10 miles in that body.
I don't know, I think I was just so grateful to finish such a hard race, and to know that after that bike, I put together my best run ever.
We earned that one. We earned that one. That was tough. Oh man. God, that was hard. Oh, that was hard. Yeah. Woo. Awesome job.
Yeah, man, that was a hard race.
It was a hard race, yeah. You may think that Florida's flat. Florida is not
the lake
flat.
country. The lake country is, but you know what? I feel good knowing we earned that, every bit of it. We're gonna bask in enjoying that we got to do this. We made it through safely, and
Some food.
yeah.
I'm hungry.
I'm proud of you. You look great on the run.
You too. You look great. Excellent job. Love doing this with you.
Yeah, wouldn't do anything else.
Yeah, when we picked up our finisher t-shirts, it was also the awards tent, and they said, "You're number 23." I'm like, "Yes, ma'am." Well, you won. Are you serious?
Over there in my tent.
First in my age group?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I am sure. I'm looking at it right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Way to go, love.
I got an award.
Well, both of you did. Hooray!
Incredibly grateful to have the opportunity to race, and to race safely in our current reality. So the fact that we were able to get out and do this race, not to mention the end result, it was just the icing on the cake for an overall incredible experience, and so grateful that we get to share it and got to share so many great accomplishments and milestones today.
It's a great way to start the season, and so proud.